I invite the Prime Minister to open this debate. Right, thank the speaker for that speech. Now I invite the leader of opposition. Here.
The biggest flaw in Prime Minister's speech is an attempt to treat AI as a legal person. We think that attempt does not make that AI any more human. Here. The position we will take in opening opposition is that artificial intelligence should remain under the control of humans and should not be treated as legal persons. How will we operationalize this? A four-part model. Firstly, we will not give any recognition to their sentience. Secondly, as far as possible, we will regulate their sentience to serve human purposes. Thirdly, we will ensure that in the future that there is no further growth of artificial intelligence to restore, to insert sentience into these robots. Two arguments in my speech. Firstly, why they cannot and are not entitled to the rights to be treated as a legal person. And secondly, even if they were given the rights, and this is taking into account the best case coming from opening government, these robots will live worse off lives. But before that, responses to Prime Minister. Prime Minister tells us that there are 4 categories to recognizing personhood. I'm going to challenge each one of it. The first thing they suggest is that it is about the recognition of self. Here's the thing, if you want to treat a robot like a legal person, that recognition of self implies that that robot's only potential and only limit is one that must be mimicking that of a human. This means that when that robot realizes that they cannot essentially look as much like a human, or they cannot essentially make as many mistakes as humans do because of their capacity to have artificial intelligence that allows them to correct or to determine as objectively, more objectively than humans, they begin to realize that the determination they make of themselves isn't one that is as similar as humans. That means even if they wanted to register pain, their ability to turn off that pain as instantly as possible because their artificial intelligence or their ability to be able to decide more objectively than human means that the experiences that they have will not be one of a human being. That means that at the point where you try to recognize or you try to say that the only image I can have of myself is to be human and realize that you're not, that we think is a bigger betrayal to the identity of the robot. Secondly, they say that this AI has free and independent thought. We recognize that AI has free and independent thought, but I think the capacity to operationalize this free and independent thought is vastly different than that of a human. The fact that when you have free and independent thought means that for these AIs, they're not susceptible to things like racial biases, or they're not susceptible to things like the types of pains that they go through, means that for these robots, their ability to be independent does not go through the same types of harms that a human goes through. That's why we give humans the rights of a legal person and not one of a human. Then they say, oh, we will be enslaving these robots anyway. We don't think it's about enslavement, because enslavement comes through the limitation of human potential. That means saying that your body must be subjugated to these types of harms, and that is your only capacity. We think this is not the type of subjugation that these robots go through. Because of their ability to be able to enhance themselves in many different ways that a human cannot, that means that their potential is greatly different than that of a human being. The reason why we have got that same type of protection to human beings is because we recognize the limitations human beings face in their ability to express their potential, and therefore we protect their right to be able to do so. We don't think that same standard applies to robots. No, thank you. Then they say this is not about good and evil. We will call personhood to everyone. Dictators will give it to you, murderers will give it to you. No, we think the nuance you need to take note of here is that the reason why we restrict the rights given to dictators and murderers is because they violated these rights. I understand that they may suggest if these AIs violate their rights, the same thing can apply. But the reason why we must go on further to say that we cannot allow this to happen is because of our inability to determine to what extent are their abilities to be able to violate these rights. Because for the humans' limited potential to be able to determine, how are we going to be able to determine if these robots are inherently not controlling us, or if they are attempting these crimes? In a world where they have so much ability to continuously rejuvenate themselves, their ability to be able to do this means they're more likely to be able to overpower that human being when they do commit the murder. They're more likely to be able to evade the kind of justice systems that they think they needed to control. We need to hear from the government branch, how will they be able to control this artificial intelligence to be able to consistently be a part of these rights? We don't think we hear a fair reason to this. The final thing they suggest is that, oh, if we don't give them these rights, they'll feel threatened and now they'll fight against human beings. We think that the total opposite is also true, because you will have a civilizational clash between humans against robots as well. And I now expand on that within my argumentation by saying, from closing.
If I am a genius and you force me to create bombs that will harm me again, how do you protect my rights?
So as a human being, to be able to force to force you to create these bombs, the fact that the reason why you're given that protection is because you have no ability to opt out of that forcefulness. We think for an AI, the ability to opt out, the ability to move past these types of forcefulness is much more applicable in our side, therefore does not warrant the same standard on your side. So, firstly, a principle as to why they don't deserve this, right? We think if you are going to premise this on autonomy, you need to understand that the reason why the autonomy of human beings deserve to be protected is because of because of the limitations that they have. So, for example, when we treat a person as a legal person, we expect a person to act in a reasonable manner. We understand that these people can make mistakes. We understand that these people may not know as much about the world. But the reason why this is not true for robots is because of their ability to constantly redevelop themselves and have as much information as possible. The fact that they don't have any flawed forms of autonomy means that even if you wanted to give them this protection, what you're essentially doing is being counterproductive to them because you limit their abilities to be able to have potential because you're constantly fearful as to what type of autonomy you can give them because you don't want that autonomy to overpower you. But the second thing is about defenselessness. The reason why we gave African Americans and many minorities rights is their inability to defend themselves. We think in a world where AI can constantly have more strength than that of a human being, the ability to defend themselves is greater than that of a human. If you tell me that Sophia the robot in Saudi Arabia was given this because she cannot defend herself, can you tell me about all the other Saudi Arabian women who cannot protect themselves but are subjected to the same type of discrimination? Why is that double standard applied to women but not to that of a robot? The conclusion to this is that even if you treat these robots like legal persons, all you're giving them is a license to be superior over human beings, and we don't think that's the same kind of standard you should be applied to. But even if, let's take them in the best case, we give them these rights. Three things happen. Firstly, we think that humans is likely because humans quantify their worth to be able to occupy places in jobs, to be able to see that they have prime positions. The moment they feel these things are attacked, that means immediately there's resistance to governments to not be able to support this AI. There's resistance to governments to climb down on this AI. We think that's when you're going to have more regulation and more exploitation of the rights that you've given to these AIs to be treated as legal persons. You don't think they live out better lives here because they're constantly on a fear that human beings will come after them or human beings are not take them as importantly as possible. But secondly, it's also a double standard because in a world where many human beings don't have the fullest extent of the rights, for you to be able to accord a right to an artificial intelligence that has not suffered to the extent of other minorities, you think that's a double standard you cannot apply. That's why we think that giving Sophia robot rights is contradictory to the fact that many Saudi Arabian women themselves do not have rights and they are deserving of these rights. You backtrack the type of the rights that you're supposed to give to them because you're putting all your resources into the artificial intelligence. The conclusion to this argument is that even if they got these rights, they live off worse off lives because humans will constantly want to seek to clamp down on them so that they do not feel threatened, they do not feel weaker.
Thank the speaker for the speech. I invite the deputy leader up.
So it was insufficient to give us responses that were relative to a human being, that we have afforded human beings rights here, therefore we can do it too here. Humans were harmed here and we liberated them, therefore we should also do it here. This debate is relative to the AI. So it's not exactly humans versus previous human conditions, as Roshan does suggest, but rather it is humans versus future potential AI's capacity to screw over us or potentially also be some be of a behavior that we cannot identify at this point. What was Div's analysis that was not engaged with? Why is it important? They've told you why these individuals don't deserve it, and the nuance here that he brought to you was that these individuals have a corrective measure that is far superior than the average human being. Then literally, they cannot be afforded the same metrics and the same standards of a legal person's rights as Amrit does suggest. What does this mean? This means that humans that they do afford rights to are either second class in this way because they will be either afforded less rights than the AI in some instances, or comparatively, you also underrepresent the AI within the legal framework of society as well. The second argument that was not engaged with was resistance from human beings. So if it's true that governments won't support AI in the future, this is not only for sentient AI, mind you, this is also for other AI measures that are like that are general AI, the ones that does the algorithm works but are not necessarily sentient. If there's backlash on the AI research movement as well, I think that they have to defend the work where they'll be harder to gain funding in that work, but also harder to fund and research and develop other general forms of AI. More of this clashes in my response towards opening government. The first question I have for opening government in response is, what is the objective of AI? There are three things that we note to you. Firstly, AI is independent. So only when they gain autonomy do they feel empowered to make these decisions that they wouldn't have done otherwise if we had regulated them as well. What does this mean? No thanks. In comparison, right? I think they give you an ideal world that AI will be really regulated. They'll be sentient. They'll have all these ideas, but they will also stay under the restraints of law. But if it's true that they are limitless in the way they want to explore ideas and autonomy, then that's not true. Second thing, AI is always one to improve, and that's, I think, something that's general in your sentient being. So for us, it's trying to find meaning of life. But at the point that AI does know its meaning of life, I think it tries to move beyond it by trying to find out, how do I improve myself because I'm mechanical and there are logical ways to do this. If the AI always wants to improve and find ways to mitigate its own pain, then therefore the harms that Amrit does claim that are unique to an AI that is similar to a human being, like feeling pain or suffering, will not exist anymore. If the AI can find ways to mitigate those pains. Third reason, I think the AI can opt out pain and suffering far more easily than the average person. Also, they have more access that is literally not humanly available. What does this mean? If they literally have the encyclopedia or the internet in their head, then they literally have far more access than the average person would have to start off with in any other circumstance in the human race, right? Why is this important? So the AI can find ways to opt out of pain far more easily than a human being, then I don't think it's fair to award it at the same level and criteria as a human being as well. No thanks. Second question, should we afford them rights? First thing I have to say about this is that we have other communities that suffer at the expense of this. The more input and research you put into funding AI development and their sentient beings, which is really expensive, mind you, the other women like Saudi women or Jewish people or African American communities are more sidelined because people see the hype and the joy of funding AI movements, right, and their sentient beings. If that's true, then generally you sideline other movements as a result because there's less money to lobby for them, or there's less emphasis for governments to prioritize them in their rights movement as well. So this is poor allocation of resource. The second thing I'll say about this is that if this money could have gone to lobbying rights for human beings but did not, literally you have to face the outcome of potentially having like a black person being sidelined by a robot or being sacked by his job because a robot could do it better. I think you give a poor reason to allocate these resources and sideline and discriminate our current human beings that currently have rights as well. This is a poor allocation of resources to the human race as well. No thanks. Second reason why we should not afford them rights is because your behavior cannot be regulated. What does this mean? So I think you can preemptively regulate a lot of, or assume a lot of human behaviors because you know their tendencies and your psychology for that, right? But if the AI, no, calm down. if the AI is sentient, right? This literally means that the AI is able to find its own ways and methods that are far superior from the human being, or far superior than what their developers could have afforded or thought about in the first place. This is different from psychology. What does this mean? This literally means that that regulatory forces will have it much harder to regulate AI if you don't have a clue or you don't have a sniff on how on earth this thing will react or what on earth its incentives are, because you cannot read this AI as well. And to literally read the mind of this AI is actually violating their rights as well, right? So I don't think that they would be able to do that on side government. Before I move on, sure.
So a human being that can go for therapy, can go for really long healthcare services, that doesn't experience racism. But your very own metrics, which would not give this person personal because it takes away from minorities and doesn't experience any of this human suffering.
But like comparative to your side, you're okay. So what OG has to prove right now is that this AI, literally, that no one was able to afford rights to initially, that never got the attention and backing from human beings previously as well, is able to gain all these rights at the expense of other human beings. The benefit that we do have in comparative is that if a human being tries to gain the benefits of this, of trying to get away from psychological problems, it's far more better because it's understandable to the human race and commonality as well. I don't think they can afford those things on their side. I'm going to explain to you why resource allocation is poor. So I think and the premise is that minorities suffer more than an AI would. And if you do neglect this community, then that's terrible on the part of human side. My second argumentation about restructuring, I think AI researchers and future developments will have it far harder with this backlash. You'll receive backlash from AI developments, from anti-AI lobbying groups that come from like China and big countries with huge labor force that don't want to risk losing them as well. And if all this is true, then your AI development community will become much smaller than initially it was. And what does this mean? The more pressure and resistance you have from the general community against AI, the harder it is to develop other general AI that are important for the human race, like your bank algorithm systems, your financial algorithm systems. The less you can develop those things, or the less trust there is input in the research or the methods of research into these systems, the harder it is to develop them and make them more efficient. So I also think this comes at the expense of the human race as well. These AIs, sure, have come a long way, but not long enough or not reasonable enough for us to believe that they can be anything like us, if not take over us or be unpredictable in behavior.
I think let's begin for next speech. And I invite the member of the government. Okay.
I don't understand why open opposition thinks that having AI will suddenly be superior the moment that we give this AI rights. I don't understand why they didn't analyze what's the incentive for this AI to feel threatened if we give them the same rights that people like you and I enjoy at this point. Because you need to acknowledge that AI also has a limitation that they are created by humans, that they don't procreate biologically, which means that at the point where humans feel like this is a threat to them, that's why it's more likely and it's easier for you to just take away these machines and not make them function in society anymore. But that's one thing. But let's look at a few questions, right? Will this be costly? Because that's also the concern coming from the opposition. I think that when we regulate a behavior, or when we impose a law, or we want to invent something new, then of course it will take money, it will be costly. But I think in this debate, I think that cost is good because you give it more incentive for makers to develop the best machine and the best less threat of a machine that it can. But that happens now. Also, I think it's also in school at the point where you want to, for example, when humans want to research on IVF, for example, or having a genetic mutation for animals, or your GM food that you can actually use to your public, right? Means that all this requires researchers as well, which means that you also require money as well. So I don't see why the same principle or why the same MEC cannot also extend to your AIs as well, especially when you want to give them right to personhood as well. So I think that so that's one part, good things. So let's look at also whether or not minorities will suffer at the end of the day. Because I think that the first thing that they should acknowledge is that courts for humans also still exist. So at the point where you let minorities suffer, at the point where a minority is harmed, means that you're also able to give them some compensation or have a legal remedy for your minorities as well, because you still have your courts or you still have your human courts that keep them in check as well. So I think the same thing also applies to your AI, whereby if you have a court for AI, for example, then you're able to hold this AI accountable at the point where they also hurt your minorities or other human beings at the end of the day. So let's look at the third question, whether or not they will become defensive. Because the fact is that the AI can think, and having the ability to empathize with humans means that there is more reason for you to give them to impose some obligations on them, given that they also want to enjoy their right to live as well. I think that's good because now humankind can conduct discussions about how you not create a machine that's not so extreme, how you don't implement a chip that's extremely racist, how you don't implement a data within an AI that's extremely racist or homophobic. Example, but also more important, the AI also have limitations, right? Because it's a paradox. Because humans create AI, therefore their imagination can only go as far as how the human are able to imagine them to be as well. That's how we're able to limit the kind of power or the kind of capabilities that they have as well. So I don't see why if they can't feel pain, then they can't imagine or assess the sufferings of others as well at the end of the day. Yeah.
You seem to suggest that AIs will always be limited by human definition, but at the same breath say that because of their ability to procreate and absorb information as fast as possible, they need to be treated as humans. So which one is it?
Number one, the unique difference that an AI has is that it doesn't procreate biologically like how humans does, which means that humans create them. So at the point where they are seen as a threat, I think it's easier if you want to remove that threat, then just take them away at the end of the day. Just like how when a person murders somebody, then you hang them to death, and that's how you remove that threat from society as well. No. What is the importance of us giving these legal obligations? Because opening government is not how you establish the idea that they are humans too. But they forget that the existence of AI does not diminish the existence of human beings who have blood and flesh as well. Yeah. What is the extension that we give you? Is that we think that if you are at a point where you give them legal obligations, means that you're able to hold your owners and creators of this AI more comfortable right now. What I mean by this, right now in status quo, owners are negligent when it comes to holding accountability at the point where this robot or this AI commit a wrong. And here's where they'll compromise, right? That phones are oftentimes able to say, oh, they are robots, so it's not my fault that they did something wrong to you. Or how am I supposed to know that this person or this AI will do something like this because he's just a robot? This narrative and this tool is extremely harmful in status quo right now because you allow for your creators to get away with what they did, right? Which means that you hurt individuals a lot more. Where you hurt individuals a lot more, especially people, for example, who enter into contract with this AI, things like how they are given information or things like the point where this AI gives you nursing care, for example. So the point where something wrong happens to your elderly or to the person you're taking care of, which means that the owners or the creators of this AI are more likely to be able to use this AI as a scapegoat because they don't want to be liable to them as well. No, thank you. So at the point where owners say that it's not their fault, means that you leave individuals without any remedy at all. Because the law doesn't recognize that these AI are also capable to make their decisions as well. And that's what the absence of legality does to you. On the flip side, is that now knowing that they are a legal person, means that they have some form of obligations that they need to adhere to, means that you directly tie the wrongdoing of this AI to the person who created that a particular AI. So it's not completely removing them or isolating them from how humans really are at the end of the day. And what that means is that owners don't get to escape or use this AI as a scapegoat at the end of the day. And that's good because now it becomes an employer-employee relationship, right? That you recognize the law allows for employers to also be liable for your employees, which means that if a robot does something wrong, means that you give it more incentive for your for these creators of this AI to also be liable for a particular thing as well. And it's easier for you to make the owners or the creators to be more liable, and that's good. Why? No, thank you. Because it's less likely for the creators to be implementing shapes that contain racist or homing data, for example. And that's how you are able to also regulate the AI behavior at the point where you give the creators an incentive to ensure that AI doesn't harm others. And this is a holistic analysis that doesn't harm from opening conflict. No, thank you. Then what it means now is that owners are also more likely to make calculated assessments as to how will they create the next AI right now. And that's why it's important in this debate as well. Which means that when you make AI liable for their actions as well, then they are also more likely to make the calculated decisions. You are more likely to think whether or not what they're about to do is right or wrong, whether or not it's a moral thing to do within society as well. The fact that they know that they can be punished means that you provide an incentive for this AI to continuously make the reasonable assessment as to what as to how they execute their actions later on. So when they do it, for example, enforce your contracts or assess your files when you want to go for legal aid for them, right? Then I think that what it means is that they have more incentives to be more efficient in assessing your damage, how much compensation the person receives. I think we're at the point where you don't hold creators accountable, or at the point where you don't make them a legal person, means that you're able to make owners also ignore the consequences of their negligence at the end of the day. I think it's far better, and I think it's far better when we're able to hold them both accountable, because that's how you regulate their behaviors at the end of the day. And that's why that is a particularly important thing today.
Any speaker for the speech? Right.
If I can summarize this debate in just one word, that word would be ethereal. No one's ever discussed what exactly are the concrete harms and benefits of legalizing this AI, discussing the value of humanity, when we think the value of humanity is often arbitrary anyway. So, how will CEO end this debate? We feel like OO has done a good job just telling you what the value of an AI is, and what that means to be an AI, or the value of why we need AI, possible or not. But we will extend that and tell you why this creates concrete harms to humanity in general, not just minorities. What exactly this means that the development of humanity and the worsening harms is not going to happen. So before that, a few responses. We think that opening has been really convenient in the characterization of what makes an AI. Because telling us exactly that these AIs have human emotions, is able to suffer pain, can be sad, can be depressed, that's literally against what the point of an AI is. So what we have in AI is to ensure that these AIs will have the best actions possible, that these AIs will be able to work 24/7 and make the best decisions, and make the best decisions calculable, which means that their version of an AI is the worst version of an AI, is the worst version of a robot. And we think that's unlikely to happen. We think that even if there exists one, it's more likely going to be in very few numbers. It's not going to be in very few numbers, and therefore it's easier for us to justify why we should use the humanity. But let's debate this on the best case scenario. And we'll extend that later on. Second, they told us that it's a better world because AIs can now make robots and can pass off knowledge. Well, then AIs can, I told you that AIs can help humanity explore the world. Just do that. But program them. Don't give them humanity. You can do all these things without giving them any form of personhood. You can have all the human development without giving them any personhood. And the biggest problem is that the moment these AIs go rogue, the moment these AIs are able to take down or fight against what can be seen as the incentive of humanity, there is no kill switch. There is no ability for you to have backdoor control over the AI because you have given human protection. And that's what I'm saying. So, no, CG later on told you that having AI be given personhood means that they're more accountable, because in status quo, owners are negligible. Well, change the laws then, make sure that the owners are accountable. Even then, they've contradicted themselves by telling us that the AI will have a human, will have the owner-master relation, which means that the AI isn't exactly independent or a legal person, that's a slave on the side of the house, so they're essentially defending a slave. But that's what it means is you can just, change the law, ensure that if an AI does something, charge the owner or kill it off. But we have Asimov's law for that. We do that with animals that kill humans, so I think we can do the same thing. But before I move on to my extension, yes.
Okay, so humanity might or might not suffer from AI's existence, sentient AI's existence. We're not in a position to judge. Can you tell me why preemptively you're deciding that an individual that's able to experience all of our emotions doesn't deserve a protection to at least be able to experience life like you and I?
I think this debate is not a debate on what's best for AI. This debate is what's best for humanity. Because essentially, we think that the value of humanity is one that's more important, and the fact that the value of an AI is one that is so incomprehensibly more powerful and infinitely more powerful than a person, that means it's problematic. What does that mean? So we go to my extension, how does this create harms for humanity? Note that with the creation of the legal person, you also give them the legal person's rights. You give them basic human rights, the rights of protection of the government, the rights of the labor rights, the right to vote, the right to life, the right to bomb the economy, and the right to procreate, which means that you are unable to control any of this. Why is this problematic? For the same reason, CG says it's good. That these AIs are created by people and they don't procreate biologically. They procreate. I don't know what the word programmatically, I don't know, based on programming, these AI can procreate themselves infinitely and in a measure. What that means is, in a point of a few minutes or a few seconds, an AI can outnumber the very essence of humanity. An AI can outnumber humans by 1 billion to 1 if they need to, if given enough time. And that means that a single AI is more powerful and is able to procreate and recreate itself even more than humanity, which means that they're able to take action that can benefit and that's more powerful, inherently more powerful than human. A single person acting alone cannot make life-altering decisions for the entire world. You need an entire system of other people and actions to do on that. But an AI, given enough time, will be able to make altering decisions. An AI, given enough time, will be able to launch nuclear missiles, take down entire weapons, and take down entire planes. Everything that's problematic. Why? Because you need to be able to give these things the level of a backdoor or a kill switch to be able to control them. Because the whole point of an AI that humanity created is to benefit humanity, not to benefit AIs. What does that mean? The moment you give these AIs personhood, you must ensure that they also get the right to life. You must ensure that they also get the right to labor protection, which means that you get the concrete benefit of killing AIs at the same time, which means that you cannot make AIs work 24/7, make millions and millions and billions and terabillions whatsoever of calculations. Because that will be like slavery or labor impeachment. What it means is the AI, because it's more efficient and more powerful, on their house, when given legal personhood, will be hindered, will be unable to work as much as possible. Because we have given it humanity, because we have given it legal rights for them to exist on their own. What that means is, no, the utility of an AI is now gone because you've limited and you've ensured that the government ensures some level of decision making on that. Which means that on their house, there's nothing to stop on their house the ability for humanity to research for new policies, to research for new developments, unhindered, will be hindered completely. And what's the compare? And what else? The ability for you to give a person legal good also means the ability for them to vote on policies, to enact certain things in government. What does that mean the moment you have an AI? An AI can recreate or create another form of AI. That's kind of the major fears of an AI, that they can recreate themselves essentially like little ultrons. What that means is, an AI can easily overpower the pure numbers of humans in terms of what they can vote for, what policies they can run, which means that these AIs are more likely to be self-interested instead of being interested in the benefits of humanity. They are able to push for policies that even in the best case scenario is one that's harmful to people. That if you follow statistical reasons, there's no logical statistical reason why you want to support and help African Americans. You do that because we believe as humanity that morality and the human value is important. And AI do not believe these things. And AI sees things in the most arbitrary, sees things that morality is not choosing the most arbitrary thing. They'll see that the utilitarian benefit is for you to ensure that everyone gains. The utilitarian benefit is for eugenics. The utilitarian benefit sometimes is to just kill people the more they become non-vigilant, they become they become the problem. So we think on ours of the house, we are able to tell you why exactly these AIs will not care for humans. Why is it these AIs will be more harmful and is able to destroy life as we know it? We need to control them at some point to propose.
And signified speech when the government would
Firstly, let's be a bit technical and point out what the teams contribute. We were the only team that told you what's the exact benefit that AIs and also humans can benefit from when we recognize these AIs as legal persons. We think that then only you can make the exploiter of the robots when they exploit or maybe like create a program that destroys humans. We think then only you can make these individuals more accountable instead of just pushing the blame towards the AI and saying that this AI is sentient. We think then only can this protection happens. We think that's important. OG only talked about the principal argument of why AI resembles a human, thus why they deserve this right. We extended that by saying that given that they not only resemble a human being, but also the ability, like there's a bigger metric for them to deserve this right. We think the ability for them to experience or to have intuition, to have instincts. This is the ability that we should protect, and thus, thank you, this is why they deserve this right at the end of the day. We think that CO provided you this like weird argument of saying that okay, AI is going to be the superior being at the end of the day. We think that this is untrue, and it's already provided by my member, right? We told you that the limit of the intelligence of an AI is the limit of the imagination of a human being. Everything that an AI can do is only the imagination of a human. If that AI can do something out of the imagination of a human being, that only is superior. But that's unlikely because the creator of AI is humans to begin with. We think that's why there's a limit on that towards thank you, the intelligence of AI. We think they wouldn't be superior to you. We think that we would win. Yes. But let's explore more about the argument that we provided you in today's period, right? We think that number one, the accountability of the the employers of this robot, or maybe the owners in the sense that they exploit, create a program or insert a chip that makes them destructive, right? We think that then only can these individuals not push the blame towards these individuals because they acknowledge the exploitation that is currently happening. Because because of the program that they instill within these robots, we think then only can we push the blame towards these individuals. But more than that, we told you that the legal obligation of individual when they create an AI, they now have more incentive to not make perhaps like racist robots, to not make robots that have a preconceived notion and make it more neutral, to make more responsible robots, right? Because this is the only way for us to achieve this. Like in comparison to their side, there's no legal protection. There's no way individuals have absolute freedom to exploit, the intelligence of robots. We think that's harmful. But what's more important we think that by having the protection of law, we are able, this is like the implicit meaning of our arguments, was that, okay, now when we recognize these AIs as legal persons, we are able to normalize them with living within society. We are able to instill morality within the artificial intelligence. And we instill this morality better, right? Because law is the strongest way for you to ensure that an individual or an AI knows what is wrong and what is right. Sure, they live within a society, that have law. But under their side, given that AI, they already acknowledge that they have conscience, right? But under their side, when they have conscience, they can make decisions without being limited by anything. We think that is a harm. That only that this AI will destroy humanity if that is like if that's the outcome that will happen, and that's because AIs are not limited by the law. No, thank you. But also, let's take out OO in today's debate, right? They were a big principally inconsistent. They already acknowledged that okay, number one, they have conscience and they experience something in a way, but we don't want to protect them because they are just a different part of humanity. No, thank you. Back in the days when Africans, when colonial empires came into Africa and deemed Africans as as beings that are unintelligent. They have pet zoos for Africans, right? They deem these individuals as not able to make decisions just because they have never seen a discovery of a new species. We think that narrative already proves to you that in order for these individuals to only be accepted within society is to first acknowledge them as a legal person at the end of the day. We don't think that just by the virtue of them being different within society and then you not being used to this being, then that you can infringe the rights of these individuals. No, thank you. But also, we think that they told you that it's sorry. All right. I Dev and said, what happens if I'm a human being and I'm a genius, but I'm being forced to making certain things, right? We don't, and he said that, okay, humans can just opt out. But no, we don't think so. If in a situation where a human have a different limit than a normal average human, that is not a legitimization for you to exploit the ability of this human and say that this is not enslavement. We think that just because an individual is stronger or maybe smarter or maybe sexier, that is not a reason for you to exploit the body of this being, right? We think, no, thank you. We think that it's important for you to also acknowledge that given that they are able to make decisions, it's important for you to respect their ability to make that decision. Before that, any sure.
Yeah. So by your metric of saying AI is limited by the human imagination, why isn't giving them rights to be treated as a legal person a mechanism of enslavement? Because you constantly say AI will always be limited in
Here.
Okay, what's important is firstly, legal, it means that they are protected and also controlled by the law, which means that when they are protected and controlled by the law, same as any other human being, you are punished when you done something wrong. So the same thing would happen. Maybe like we have an AI court, we would put an AI when perhaps we kill an individual on the ground, or maybe kill another AI in the day, right? Then those are the kind of things that's only exclusive to closing government. That's how we went to this debate. But also, they told you that you were principally inconsistent because that, okay, in Saudi Arabia, perhaps Sophia have more rights than the people on the ground. But what's more important is that they already acknowledge that the principle that these individuals deserve this right at the end of the day. But the difference is that the patriarchal system is the obstruction towards the equality in this right. Same as what opposition is trying to say to you today. We think that the obstruction of the human right is because they feel afraid of this being, right? We don't think that you should feel afraid. We think that these individuals deserve this right as well because they're able to experience and make decisions. We think that's important. But let's take out, but what's more important? When I say, let's assume that AI will become a superior being in day, but why will it still benefit the humanity? We think number one, it's a form of evolution. When there's an interaction with a being that is superior at the end of the day, that only can human beings within the nature of them to have a can be with the evolution or maybe be superior at the end of the day. I think that's important. That's the only way for human beings to actually have modernization better under our side. You think CJ would? Okay.
Right, upward. Yeah.
I think that in order for you to judge this debate, is for you to ask yourself the very basic question of why did humanity create artificial intelligence in the first place? It's because number one, we recognize that we are limited by our own capabilities. We recognize that we need sleep. We recognize that we need food in order for us to survive. And we concede to the fact that we are limited in the sense that we are unable to carry out certain activities that may require us to go beyond our limits. Which is why in the day we created artificial intelligence for us to kind of compensate for all the weaknesses that we have. Which is why in status quo we do not give this artificial intelligence the right to personhood in every day, because we inherently treat them as a form of utility in order for them to cater to our limits that we have in ourselves, right? Which is why status quo we don't give them this sort of personhood in order for them to not disrupt the whole purpose of having AI in the first place, right? Which is why by virtue of creating them in the first place, why you should prioritize have humanitarian and humans more than AI. You can have the power because like what they want to prove is how giving them this person who will now equalize them in the form of like giving them rights to person and so on and so forth. We believe that having these rights given to them in the end of the day will disrupt their whole purpose and will just disrupt the whole utility purpose that they have. So the whole premise, let me first deal with OG's case, right? So the whole premise of OG is that if we give a artificial intelligence the same human values of an actual human, then they would be able to cater more to human capabilities and so on and so forth. So this is untrue, because if you are able to argue to you that they will use these human rights in order for them to disrupt the life of humans in the end of the day, then we will take this debate, right? So they listed up, sit down. So they listed all of these benefits that accrue on their side, how they are able to get better. They're able to get better technology and so on and so forth, right? But then what my member especially told you that how now when you have this particular artificial intelligence, you have person who have the right that they want to fight for only their self, they are only self-interested in the end of the day because they're only able to recognize their own species and not want to just suddenly have an incentive to want to help humanity as a whole, right? Because now when you give them this of rights, and if you want to only pander to whatever their beings want, right? So they will not want to help. They also never prove to us why they don't want to help this particular this particular group in energy. But then they also told you things such as how why this creates a big role for robots, and we believe that this is not even the priority of today's debate, because by virtue of us creating these robots, we believe that we are the priority on this debate is to able to cater to what our human values are, and that's this particular robots are able to benefit us in the end of the day because we were the ones who created them. So I don't understand why is it that they must prioritize the value of this particular robot in the end of the day, right? So also they talk to us about how these robots will now create better robots and then will be able to help humanity as a whole. We believe that not giving them personhood will still be able to do that on our side, but giving them personhood would just disrupt the whole purpose of them helping human life, because now they would help their own species and everything, disrupt the whole ecosystem of humans and all that. So even if it is humans take them at their best, these robots will still not help humans. How is it still self-interested in the day? Because discriminate, notice that if you have these limitless capabilities that artificial intelligence have, then they would discriminate other beings that are limited in their day, right? Because we believe that they will prioritize their own abilities and all that stuff. So by virtue of them being different of their own capabilities, we believe that recognize that both are and recognize that both are sentient individual in both worlds. So we believe that they have the capability to want to ignore whatever it is that humans want and just cater to their own. So we argue that they don't have the virtue in themselves to want to cater to humanity now, because they know that they have the values the same as human. If they do so, then they will not be able to get it at the end of the day. So let's also talk about why they want to say how now we're able to help them more in the sense of we're able to prioritize their discriminative nature, how Amit pointed out slavery and day. So the premise is this. The reason why we are able to pander to more human rights activists is because we're able to understand where they're coming from, we're able to understand the human emotion in which, perhaps my ancestor was once discriminated and so on and so forth. How does this not happen in artificial intelligence? Because they are created by other humans. They are not able to understand what happens in the past. They're not able to understand whatever rights it is that they want for future generations and so on and so forth. So we believe that giving them this sort of person will not be able to get whatever it is, giving them equal rights and so on and so forth. So let's sit down. So let's deal with CG in this sense, right? So CG came out now saying how not giving them personhood will not give them accountability. Let's just make the owner accountable. Let's I don't understand why they must give the person for them to give accountability. Because if a dog like bites you and the owner is just like that, you don't blame the dog, you blame the owner, obviously, right? So also we all notice how artificial intelligence can make millions of population a second. They're able to have limited more unlimited capabilities. It means that they are able to if you give them personhood, and even if you punish them and put them in prison, they still be able to go out of prison because of the unlimited personality, right? So again, the function of AI is self-improvement, and AI is security, and their security is infinite because humans would just want to cater to more things. When you already have one development, you would want to have more and more and more. It would be it's going to be infinite, and in the end of the day, it doesn't help the humanitarian utility of having artificial intelligence themselves.
Ma'am, are we ever really independent? We adhere and listen to the government. We migrate according to state approval if we can travel or not. Which means that the state also owns us. So why is that ownership of robots or the ownership of AI exclusive on your side?
The thing is, giving them give them this right to want to have their own incentives to kind of go against human in the end of the day. Because we believe that not giving them person would still allow them to become the sort of the responsibility of the human and not being a being of themselves. We already told you how having them being a being of themselves and being the owner of their own self is harmful on our world because they're able to make unrational decisions as to what would affect the generation the generation in which they don't have because in our world at least we are accountable for the generation that comes after us because we're able to relate to them because they're our children and so on and so forth. But it doesn't happen on their world because these robots do not have that sense of accountability and everything. It's just apparent in itself, right? So also how artificial intelligence needs to know what is right and wrong, which is not very arbitrary. At least humans have the moral capability and moral incentive killing a person is wrong for our own utility. But then the very fact that artificial intelligence was made to cater to humans themselves, that they will be able to not have this sort of moral rational and they will make they will make decisions that will just benefit humanitarian as a utility principle and not as a moral principle. And by giving them personhood will just harm human values.
Alright, welcome to the day. Cross the floor, shake hands, and you can go straight to the bus. Waiting already on time.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be the speak